So did you ever think about the fact that some locations in the world seem to be so popular among photographers that they have become almost like clichés? You can recognize such a location when you get there by all the tripods and photographers and cameras everywhere at all times of the day. No matter what the weather it is, they would just be standing there, always. And you can also recognize it because you have seen it 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times on Instagram. You have seen exactly the same photo of that exact location, but taken by thousands of different photographers. So what's the point? What's the point of going halfway around the world to a place that you have seen in a photograph and taking exactly the same photograph yourself? I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to hate on the people who do this, because I'm one of them. I've done this a lot myself. I just reflected upon this morning, and without further ado, and before we deepen this discussion, here is my top 10 list of the most cliché landscape photography locations in the world. Let's go. Number 10, Lake Bled, Slovenia. This one is at number 10 because perhaps it is not the most seen location out there, but I bet that quite a few of you have seen this in your Instagram flows now and then. Of course, a beautiful location with this little church and island, but photographed a little bit too much. Number 9, that Wanaka tree in New Zealand. This is the location that I showed a picture of earlier in this video with all the tripods and whatnot. And this one, I mean, it's just everywhere on Instagram, on Flickr, on 500px. This is a location that, of course, is beautiful, and it's quite a lot of variation actually, depending on the season and the weather. But still, it's a bit too much photographed. Number 8, Landsfoss Iceland. One of the classic locations when you do a tour around the island. This is where you stop to see the famous waterfall that you can walk behind. And of course you feel very tempted to take photos of it because yeah, it is quite a cool sight, a waterfall that you can walk behind. But unfortunately a little bit too many landscape photographers with wide angle lenses have been here, so now it's merely a cliché. Number 7, Tuscany Hills in Italy. Perhaps you have seen these hills and this little house with the small trees around it. I think you might have, at least if you've been looking at Flickr or 500px, because this house with the little small trees around it is just everywhere. Number 6, Bagan, Myanmar. I don't know about you, but I've seen photos like these a little bit too many times. These balloons and these temples are of course very cool, and the first time you see a photo like this you're quite impressed, but yeah, we've seen them a little bit too often. Number 5, and please pardon my French here, Le Mont Saint-Michel, France. Yeah, this is a pretty cool place. This colossal monastery on top of this big mountain with the tide below it, making it float around in the ocean now and then. Very cool location. But perhaps you should think twice when you're photographing it from this exact angle, because you might not be the first person to do so. And you should also perhaps think twice before posting it on social media, because you might not be the first person to do so. That's a cool edit. Number 4, Manarola, Italy. Have you perhaps seen this little town in Cinque Terre in Italy? Yeah, I have. More than once. Actually, the first few times I saw it, it made me book a trip here because I thought it was so beautiful. But now when I see pictures like these, I just want to puke because I've just seen them too many times. Number 3, Reyniaskirkja Church, Iceland. Oh my god, this white church. We've all seen it, haven't we? And I guess it is because it's conveniently placed right next to another photography cliché, which is the Black Beach.
Number 2, Susuleve, Namibia. And now we're really into puking territory here because, oh my god, I don't know how many thousands of times I've seen these photos. Yes, they look beautiful, yes, they are cool, but I mean, when you've seen them enough times, you just want to throw up because you're so tired of seeing these photos of these trees out in the desert in Namibia. Number 1, Antelope Canyon, Arizona, USA. And I don't know where it all started. Maybe this was the background on some Windows installation or whatever, but now I see these photos just everywhere. And yes, it is also a very cool and nice looking location, but not after seeing it thousands of times. The same photo shot by tens of thousands of photographers. I can't take it anymore. This is the number 1 Cliché landscape location.
Did I leave out any location that should have been in the list? I mean, this is my personal subjective list from like the locations that I'm the most tired of seeing in photographs, but maybe you have a different list. Please do comment on this video. I'm really curious to hear about what locations you think are cliché locations. And please also begin a discussion about the point of doing this. Maybe I'm being too harsh here. Maybe there is a good point of doing this. Maybe the point is to practice as an aspiring landscape photographer by doing the shots that you have seen many others do. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a good practice to do because you can boost your self-confidence. Because if you go to one of these locations, you have a really high chance of taking a beautiful photograph because it's been done so many times before and it always comes out great. I don't know, but it's an interesting phenomenon that I wanted to highlight by doing this video. And guys, I also have a challenge. The next time, and by the way, this is a challenge for me personally as well. The next time you find yourself in a cliché location, maybe you're on Iceland, maybe you're visiting one of the famous waterfalls, and you know you've seen it hundreds of times in other people's photographs. Make it a challenge to yourself to take a new photograph of this location. The challenge is to capture the beauty, which is there, but to do it in a way that no one has done before. Find a new angle, find a new way of post-processing, find a new way of doing the photograph. It's not very common, but sometimes I've seen people pull this off, and it's always extremely impressive because they ride on the wave of the symbolism of the place, that people recognize it, it makes a stronger impression, but at the same time you get the strong impression that they have done something truly unique with this location. So make it a challenge to yourself, and I will make it a challenge for me to take a new photograph next time I visit a cliché location. So that's basically it for this video. Just wanted to lift this little thought, and please leave a thumbs up if you did like the video. It helps this channel tremendously. And please do subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. And yeah, we'll see each other again in a few days when I will post yet another photography video. Over and out.